Hi, this is Janine Sews. I'm Janine, and thank you so much for watching my channel. In today's video, I'm going to catch up on a few things and show you a couple of things I've made. This video is just going to catch up on a few things. I don't do Friday Sews, so this is kind of my version of Friday Sews, a catch-all of a bunch of little sewing topics. In a previous video, I showed you the Cashmerette Kineton dress that I had made, and I'm wearing it right here. And I wasn't exactly thrilled with it, and I asked for your input and ideas. And the three things that I thought were a problem were the sleeves. I wasn't sure if I liked the poofiness that came with the elastic on the sleeves, which was something I did. It wasn't in the original pattern design. It was really short-waisted, and I thought it was also a little bit short. And you all gave so much great feedback and ideas, suggestions, and critiques. And I've wound up changing two things. I have taken the elastic out of the sleeves, and I've shortened them considerably. So there's no elastic there. And I'll tell you, as soon as I took out the elastic on one sleeve, it was just so much more comfortable. The elastic bugged me. Even though it wasn't tight, it really bugged me where it was hitting me on my arm. The second thing was the short-waistedness. And yes, it's very short-waisted. And I didn't really have the inclination to take off the bodice and add a piece or anything. So I was going to leave it, and then the other day after I wore the dress, and it drove me nuts because it kept pulling up so much and it was super short-waisted, which made it even shorter in length, I thought, why don't you just add some more elastic? So I unpicked the opening of the waistband and I added like 3 inches more to the waist. And it's so much more comfortable now. And it doesn't ride up the same way, so it's much looser. I still get the waist definition from the elastic waistline, but it's not tight and it isn't riding up every time I move and getting caught. I'm not having to pull it down all the time. So that was a good solution to the problem. But if I make this pattern again, and I think I will, because it's a quick make and it's a nice summer dress and it's got pockets, I'm going to add, I think, 2 to 3 inches to the bodice length. And I know this is a trend, a current thing. I don't really love the poofy shoulders. So I might reshape the shoulder head so that it's not poofy. Can probably just Franken pattern something. But these two changes alone have made a huge difference. I have not yet mowed the lawn in this dress, but I will, and I'll be sure to get pictures. At the beginning of the year, I wrote up some sewing goals, and it's now the middle of August, really. And I'm just reviewing my goals, and I've just been, between work and Frock Tales and Calgary Sews, I've just been overwhelmed. I haven't had much time to just take a breath. It always seems like there was a project that had to be done. And now I've taken a little bit of time, and I've looked at my goals and seen how I'm doing, and if I want to make any changes. I've still got pretty much, and we all do, we have pretty much half the year. If there are things we wanted to accomplish in 2023, there's still probably time to do it. So I had used, in January, this little Bernina sewing goal sheet, and I'm going to link the template down below. I think it's still available. And I hadn't necessarily set very specific goals. These are just kind of sewing intentions. And I set 3 projects or intentions. The first one was to perfect pant fitting. And I've done pretty well with knit pant fitting using top down, center out. And I do want this year to make very concerted efforts on woven pants with yokes or pockets or both. And I am going to try with some summer weight cropped pants. And when I mentioned that in a previous video, a couple of people said to me, why aren't you just using one of the patterns that you've already got? And the patterns that I have for woven pants are all really basic, and I wanted something that does have some more features so that they can be a little bit more polished and not quite as casual. So I actually bought the Love Notions duet pattern, which I'm going to try using top down, center out, and that's something I'm going to work on in the next couple of weeks. So that was number one, intention or goal number one. Goal number two was to de-stashify my patterns. I'm not one of those people who has hundreds of patterns, but I've picked up a lot over the years, especially when I lived in the States. And there were all those crazy sales at Joann where you could get, what was it, 10 patterns for $10 or something. So I spent a couple of Sundays going through my patterns earlier this year, and I've pulled out about 60 uncut patterns that I no longer want, and about 45 patterns that I had used and I know I won't use again. And Calgary Sews is actually going to have a pattern swap picnic in August, so that's when I'm going to hopefully get rid of many of those and not pick up too many more patterns when I look at what other people are getting rid of. So that goal I'm pretty close to achieving. And the third one is more an intention to continue with wardrobe basics, to select solid colors and be really thoughtful in what I'm sewing and how it works with everything else in my closet. And I've gone off plan a number of times. However, I've also made great headway in having a closet where everything has something that goes with it. And I think the biggest part of that was what I sewed in the spring for our holiday. So I think I'm on track there, and it's always still in my mind. I'm always looking for solid colored fabrics. Then there are 3 techniques that I still plan to work on this year, and one is linings. I keep adding linings to things where I can, and I think that's the way you learn to do linings. You just start using linings. Then I'm going to do some applique. I really do like applique. It's one of those things, though, I usually think of in the fall when I want to make either autumn or Christmas items. So that's going to be an autumn thing. And then improving zipper installation. And again, that's something that's just done through trial and error. And I am going to take an afternoon this fall, maybe one day when the weather is really poor, and just sew in zippers, pick them out. Sew in zippers, pick them out. And I want to learn to put in zippers on the machine, a fly zipper, and also to learn how to do a hand-picked zipper. So, doing pretty well for 7/12 of the way through the year. And I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. Things I've sewn in the past several weeks. Well, in my last video, I showed you the jacket that I sewed for the Calgary Stampede Arts and Crafts exhibition, competition, but I did sew a couple of other things. I had shown you previously fabric that I picked up for my mom to make a top for her birthday, and the pattern that I wound up using is the Love Notions Rhapsody, and I picked that for 3 reasons. The first, I had the pattern, I could just print it out in a smaller size. Second, I know that it works. I know that it goes together well and the instructions are good. And third, she's in a wheelchair and has limited mobility and has help to get dressed in the morning. And with that top, the way it's open at the front with the tie, she can just lift up her arms and they can drop the top down over her arms and over her shoulders, and no trying to button things or get stuff around her back. So it's a good shape for someone who has limited mobility. And I did sew something for me. Very quick little make. It's another Cashmerette club pattern, and I know that not everybody is in love with subscription services, and I understand that completely. But someone in the last video pointed out that apparently you can buy just a single month membership. You don't have to commit to the full year subscription. So if there's something you really want to try, I suggest that you take a look at Cashmerette Club's website and see if you can buy just a 1 month membership and get the pattern you want. So what I made is not one of the newer patterns. I think it's from last year. It's the Cashmerette Club Brattle top. It's a t-shirt with a twist. Super, super simple make. I like it because it has the twist. And I know that right now that's something that's sort of on trend, or at least it's current. But I like the twists because it adds some emphasis to your waist without grabbing. There's always a little bit of extra fabric there. So this is the second time I've sewn something with a twist, and I will absolutely use this particular pattern again because it was such a fast make. You don't have to worry about bust darts or anything like that on this because you can see there's all the excess fabric in the bodice that goes into the twist. This is the garment. It just came out of the wash because I've worn this, gosh, 10 times at least since I made this 3 or 4 weeks ago. And this fabric is, so it's not pressed, and I've just seen that I have to trim some threads here. This fabric is an art gallery knit that I've got from another shop here in Calgary called My Sewing Room. It's mostly a quilt shop, but they do have some garment fabrics, and they seem to be getting more garment fabrics. But this art gallery knit is a nice weight because it's not tissue weight, nor is it as heavy as some of their knits that I've used for like skirts and things like that. So it's a nice weight that doesn't grab onto any bumps or jiggles or bulges. There's the twist. Again, this isn't pressed. There's the twist on the front. And this has a neck facing, and it's quite wide. And I didn't make any changes, and my bra straps don't show when I wear this. Sewed up really fast. This is absolutely, if you have a serger, this is a 1 evening top, I think, for sure. And I'm not fast, and this was a 1 evening top for me. I added 1 inch to the length of the bodice. I think that was about the right amount. And the only thing I would change for the next time I make this is on the back, there is just a 5/8 inch hem. And because this is jersey, of course it rolls. So next time I would add a little bit more so that maybe there's at least a 1 inch hem on the back. On the front, the hem is part of the twist, so you don't have to worry about it as much. And it doesn't seem to show as much. But this is the Cashmerette Brattle top, and I'll use the pattern again. I love the fabric. It's a nice print for summer, and yeah, it's a print, but it goes with denim, and it goes with blue, and it goes with a lot of things that I have in my closet. So that's what I have sewn. I'm in the middle of one project. I finished another project that I'm not really happy with, and I'm going to try and make the best of it, and then I'll show you that one. Just working through a bunch of things, knowing that it's going to be autumn here in probably 4 or 5 weeks. So if I have any summer sewing, I've just absolutely got to get to it, or I won't be wearing it until next year. And I really don't like the idea of leaving fabric in from season to season. I try to avoid that because I don't want to have a bunch of fabric around. So that's a quick catch-up of everything that's been going on. As always, thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you soon.